Now before I start the video, I want to say that for everyone that has gotten videos either demonetized or semi-demonetized, you should be aware of the following. YouTube will account for captions when automatically demonetizing or deprioritizing your video. That's the main reason for people in the HTB community having their videos restricted, as their videos talked about people committing suicide. So I suggest not joking about similar topics if you do not want your videos to get demonetized. They will also be unable to understand sarcasm or if you're stating an opinion that you disagree with. So with that said, this video is meant to clarify the changes made to the algorithm back in November of 2016, so that YouTube creators are able to adapt their content to get promoted by YouTube, as almost all people were negatively impacted by the update and still are. So in order to understand the changes, I have used the following sources: YouTube official API revision history, YouTube statistics, TubeFilter's publications from Matt Gillan, Tubular Insight, Derry Leaves, Tim Schmoyer, Google Knowledge Graph's website, Jamie Taylor, Sean Simister, Social Blade, and a lot of testing and research done by myself. Now back in November of 2016, almost all views were dropping massively. But in order to find a solution to the problem, you first need to identify the cause. The cause of a view drop is in my opinion very well described in PewDiePie's video titled "What the fuck is going on with YouTube?" uploaded on the 4th of December 2016. In the video, Kjellberg showcased how his newer videos had seen a massive decline in viewership, as his newer videos had an astonishingly low traffic rate from the suggested videos category. What is also brought up in the video is the fact that almost all of the recommended for you videos had a very high engagement rate. The easy assumption being that the new YouTube algorithm was tweaked to favor engagement rate and views. That however being incorrect. The actual key lies in the suggested videos category. This does indicate that the change was made to how YouTube determine relations between videos. This assumption is confirmed by YouTube's official revision history for the YouTube API. It clearly states that functions related to topic IDs were either changed or deprecated, meaning that they are no longer used and are to be removed after a while. This being because YouTube was forced to remove a database that would recognize relations between entities, and thereby essential for relating videos to each other. The database was called Freebase and was announced to be deprecated back in 2014. So what actually was Freebase and what made it so great? Freebase was a database that would keep track of entities and would recognize relations between them. As an example, Freebase would not only recognize that Leonardo da Vinci was born in Italy on the 15th of April 1452, but he was also an artist being a part of the High Renaissance movement, and that one of his creations were the iconic Mona Lisa. But Freebase would also, based on all that information, be able to make him related to several other people, like Michelangelo. In that case, mainly due to him being an artist during the same time period and also being a part of the High Renaissance movement. Now, this is also a huge part of how tags and other important relations through titles and descriptions were established before the update. So even though Kanye West and his album Life of Pablo does not have any linguistic relation, Freebase would still recognize that the two have a very strong relation to each other. This way of creating broad relations with the individual's personal taste being at the center has been very essential for channels like H3, iDubbbz, Leaf is Here and Pyrocynical, that all used to make reaction commentary videos of completely unknown topics and videos. So even if your videos had no direct title or tag relationship to any other video, you would still get suggested as you were still deemed as relevant, simply because the tag relations were so broad and advanced that you would still get suggested based on the individual viewer's personal taste. The replacement for Freebase called Google Knowledge Graph Search API was announced at the end of 2015. This is unlike Freebase not a database full of information and relations, but only a very basic search engine. To make an example of how easy it is to black hat the Google Knowledge Graph Search API, I have the following results for the search term Google. The higher the score, the more related. There are two very interesting results, Tupaki and Topica. While an Indian Bollywood movie called Tupaki would rank higher for the search term Google, then Google Store and Google Japan is clearly the result of a very simplistic search engine that lacks both depth and complexity. as the only reason for Tupaki ranking higher up than Google Store and Google Japan is the fact that the keyword Google is being repeated more times in the Wikipedia article for the Bollywood movie Tupaki, because the movie featured a 6-minute song called Google Google, and that song was mentioned 8 times in the Wikipedia article, resulting in the keyword Google being repeated 16 times and thus being more related to Google than Google Store and Google Japan. This system is clearly broken and should never be used for making any judgment on whether a video is related to one another or not. I personally don't think that this is the exact replacement, however, but whatever they did replace Freebase with does not seem to have a sophisticated database to draw relations between entities and tags, as the following properties were deprecated on the 10th of November, indicating so. Now this means if you tag a video with the tag H3H3, that tag has no relation to Ethan Klein, Eli Klein, or even Vape Nation. It would, however, still be able to draw the relation between H3H3 and H3H3 Productions. My conclusion based on all this information with the help of research is that YouTube's algorithm was heavily tuned to function with Freebase. So when Freebase was replaced with a much more simplistic system, it was simply unable to relate videos in the same manner as it was used to. As a result, YouTube had to rely on other factors such as views and watch time. This resulted in the recommended videos being everything from colorblind videos to 1000-degree knife videos. It had no actual relation to what you had actually watched recently. This was instead caused by the algorithm failing to make a strong enough connection to the people that you had actually enjoyed watching and similar people to them. So how do you break the pattern? You need to constantly think of how your video is going to be related to other people and videos. Try to make your video about something popular and trending or aimed at a specific topic/YouTuber. Alternatively, you can copy the tags from a very famous video in order to massively increase the chances of you being promoted in a hugely unfair manner. That might, however, lead to termination. This is something that ProGamerJ, Top 5 Best, Exility and their friends heavily exploited after the update. The peak growth for J was around 900k subs within a month and 600k for Top 5 Best. This is best described by this graph showing how they compare to another channel called I Am Seer. So before the update, both Jay and Seer had a very similar sub growth of a couple thousands each month. Before something drastically changed in November that caused the two tag abusers to grow massively. That being the update. Note that the red line is on the 1st of November and the update was made on the 10th of November, with signs of it being tested out in a lower scale towards the end of October. At the same time as everyone else had the worst period on YouTube, these people skyrocketed to the top. Not because their content was any better, but because their metadata in forms of tags gave them an extremely unfair advantage, as other YouTubers weren't related to anyone else and thus didn't get suggested by anyone else either. Keep in mind that this practice is 100% against YouTube guidelines and will lead to the termination of your channel. People such as Technical Difficult with 2 million subs is an example. His channels was terminated for keyword stuffing. Other people include Caspa C and AO Kronos, both terminated for the same thing. The strike that ProGamerJ received in December, as well as multiple mainly podcast channels getting terminated around the same time, is proof that YouTube is well aware of the problem. Now both ProGamerJ and Top 5 Best keep on using this practice, even after getting both striked and publicly called out. As a result, we're most definitely on the shortlist for a very likely upcoming ban wave, similar to that of 2014. Now worth pointing out is that someone that didn't get banned in 2014, despite heavily exploiting keyword stuffing, were T. Martin. He had to go back and remove description tags for way over 2000 videos. So even if you don't get banned for exploiting the algorithm, you are still sending a clear message that you value money over morals, something that is clearly shown by T. Martin. On the other end, people who are growing legitimately are doing so mainly because of the recommended for you category. The recommended for you page is entirely based on your recently watched videos. They seem to mainly go by the amount of views and watch time to define a specific taste. The taste is defined by the tags of the videos and channels that you have watched recently. Then based on that taste, they will recommend similar videos that has the highest rating in the YouTube algorithm. The rating being defined by views, view velocity, watch time, session duration, session start and end, upload frequency, most likely also click-through rate and non-subscribed viewership, and much more. The only factor that most people don't already know about is sessions. It is being described as the most crucial factor for upcoming YouTubers. The concept is very simple. If your video makes people watch another video on YouTube, you will rank higher. If you make people stop watching videos on YouTube, you will get ranked lower. The longer the period people spend on YouTube, the higher you will rank. It doesn't matter if you send them to your other videos or someone else. What matters is the time period and the amount of views. This is why the infamous important playlist by Yolto is being promoted to everyone on YouTube. Because the important playlist is driving huge amount of watched videos and watch time in long sessions. So do make sure that you are promoting your content through playlists and annotations at the end of each video. Because the algorithm is heavily favoring people with longer sessions. Now the rest of this video will focus on how you can adapt your content to your new system. I will use the commentary community as a main example for this video, although it will still prove to be very beneficial for people of any genre on YouTube, as the way you need to look on tags and other things carry over to all kinds of videos on YouTube. So to start, as we already know by now, the thing that changed back in November was how the tag system works. As a result, the new system struggles to make meaningful recommendations unless very obvious. The conclusion to be made here is that the only time the commentary community is related to each other is when we are talking about the same topic. That's why people that make unique and outstanding videos are struggling massively, as after the update they are no longer related to anyone. The old system will recognize the relation between people in this community, but now the only way to get suggested is to make videos about the same topic. Now the best way to show where the commentary community is failing in the algorithm is to compare it to a fully functional community. That being the gaming community. Because in the gaming community, the game you play is tagged multiple times in the tag section. This results in a very clear genre of what the person is playing, and thereby the new and simpler algorithm is still able to draw the connection. Now, about a month ago, I went through and documented the suggested videos for a Resident Evil 7 playthrough on YouTube. What I found shocking about the suggested videos was the following. Only one video was labeled recommended for you. And that video was a Resident Evil 7 playthrough by PewDiePie. So even that video is still related to the actual topic. The second thing being that 15 different YouTubers were being promoted by the algorithm for the same video. Comparing that to a video that did very poorly for Pyrocynical titled YouTube Horror Simulator, 9 of the suggested videos were recommended for you videos. The main thing to note here is that Pyro only tagged this video with tags containing Resident Evil 7 twice. Which ties into the third point, that the average suggested video had 8.6 tags containing the keyword Resident Evil 7, as documented in the Google Sheet. Among the people who had the fewest tags containing Resident Evil 7 was PewDiePie with 2 and Markiplier with 5. They clearly have an advantage in viewership that makes it much easier for them to get suggested, something that most people on this website doesn't have. This yet again ties into my previous point, but the new tag relation system is badly tuned. As the algorithm is tuned for a previous much better system, and as a result struggles to make meaningful recommendations unless multiple tags are matching, with an average of 8.6 tags containing the main keyword. So the only time that we in the commentary community have multiple matching tags are when we are talking about the same topic. Sadly, even that connection is flawed. Because when I watch multiple videos about the IDubbbz Tanamojo situation, only few of the people that I'd watched return in my recommended for you box. And instead I got suggested videos from Tanamojo and Cody Co. This is clearly a huge failure, as I'd watched multiple videos only from people in the commentary community. Despite that, I still got suggested people like Cody Co over most of the people that I had actually watched. Because he has made videos with Tanamojo and his overall watch time is much higher than the average in the commentary community, with around 69.5 at 8.5 minutes average. Now keep in mind that it's the same for BuzzFeed, Wall Street Journal, or even just watching a video from H3H3. Instead of being suggested a similar video from IDubbbz or Filthy Frank, you will get suggested videos talking about H3H3. So knowing what we know so far, it should be quite obvious that the solution to this problem is to use the same tags in the community. This is, however, where we need to be very careful, as doing it carelessly can easily get people terminated or not function as intended. What we need to do is to define the community as a unique genre on YouTube, not to create an inclusive tag union. So to start, the commentary community is not a genre, it's a community. Even the term commentary video is in my opinion very bad at describing the genre. The best way to describe the genre in my opinion is reaction comedy. Because at the core we are all reacting to something and putting our comedic spin on it. We react with our comedic input on everything from Kickstarter projects, Joey salads, trending topics, or even cringy kids. Now obviously there's a huge difference between iDubbbz and Leafy, and that difference will carry over to the tags, as in that case there are two different subgenres that separate the two. I think that the community will over time label those subgenres in an organic manner, as long as we have one primary genre to begin with. The main genre tag should in my opinion be Recom, as it is 100% unique and will be defined as reaction comedy / commentary. By using this tag we will start to function more like the gaming community, which will allow us to break out of a circle jerk around specific topics like BuzzFeed and feminism. Now do keep in mind that the average recommended video in the gaming community had 8.6 tags containing the main keyword. So Recom and the subgenre tags should be of similar amount. I suggest using the following tags as standard, and then the community will organically start to create subgenres. As an example, Trendy Recom and Trending Recom could be the definition of a subgenre in the tags. Now reaction comedy can be changed to anything. At the end of the day it's up to the community to decide. We just need a specific genre like vlog or let's play. The new algorithm needs to have clear topics and clear genres in order to function. So no matter the name, the community needs a specific genre. As long as the genre isn't tagged more than 7 or 8 times, it should have absolutely no impact on your regular keyword optimization, while still improving audience retention and massively increasing the amount of meaningful recommendations, which will in turn drive up sessions and allow us to create content that isn't about popular topics like BuzzFeed and feminism. So hopefully you have enjoyed and learned something from this video. I might do more videos like this in the future, but my next video is on how many times Leafy has said literally. And as a spoiler, it's over 1,000 and should be out in a day or two. So if you want to see more content like that, feel free to subscribe and follow me on Twitter.